Hey everyone, welcome back. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to draw eyes so that in all of your portraits, you'll be able to get different types of expressions in your drawings. And so in this video, we're going to cover a few different expressions. We're going to do angry, surprised, bored, a sad one, and a pensive one. So kind of a mix of different facial expressions that you might want to try in your drawings. Okay, so this first one is bored. And so you'll notice that there's a little bit of space between the iris and then there's a little bit extra white of the eye. And then that the lid is sort of like downcast, kind of giving sort of almost like a droopy sense to the eye. So think about that in your drawing. These are different ways that you can get those kinds of expressions. So this next one I'm kind of calling pensive. So it's kind of more of a neutral one of all the different eyes that I drew. So I just start with like an outer sketch of the shape of the eye. And whenever you're drawing an eye, you want to just look closely at the person's actual shape of their eye. What's going to give the eye that you're drawing the best effect is where you draw that center of the eye really dark, darker than most of the other things in the drawing. And then you leave a reflection right next to it, right? So in every single eye drawing that I'm going to do in this video, you're going to notice that it has the same pattern where it's got that dark mark in the middle that reflects the pupil of the eye in the iris. And then right next to it is a reflection. Because that's what's going to give, with that kind of contrast, is going to give it the sense of being sort of like, has that glassy, marbly kind of texture that's different than, say, the skin around it or the eyelid or the eyelashes. So that's very important. I wanted to make sure to really make that point. Now, the next thing that I wanted to point out is about the white of the eye. And so a lot of times when people think of drawing, they leave the white of the eye completely white. But if you actually observe a lot of, whether it's photographs or a person that you're drawing, you'll notice that the white of the eye is frequently in shadow. And actually having more of that shadow is good because it makes the reflective area that's in the iris look like a little bit more noticeable, and it'll make it look a little bit more glossy. And in this drawing, I'm also being sure to go around the eye. So I'm thinking about the eyelid. I'm thinking about the entire area kind of above the eye as well. So when people only draw that kind of almondy part, that's usually when the eye doesn't look very realistic and actually kind of looks more like a cartoon type of eye. Because when cartoonists draw, they're of course simplifying the eye very much. So if you want your drawing to look more realistic, like a realistic portrait, you want to make sure that you're drawing the eyelid and the whole area around the eye as well. And if you're someone who is new or relatively new to pen and ink and you want to just learn more about the basics of pen and ink before you are drawing things like portraits, if you type guide in the comments of the video, I will send you my free guide that's on crosshatching. And I recommend checking this out because it gives the basics, right? So a lot of the line work that I'm doing, I go over some of these topics in that guide. So check that out. So this one that I'm doing here is a surprised facial expression or eye expression. So for the surprised look, the big difference between this one and the other ones is that there's white of the eye all the way around the iris, right? So that's what gives it that like shocked look that a surprised expression has. So that's the main thing. That's going to kind of get you sort of like half of the way there. And notice that the iris, it still has that contrast. So I wanted just to reiterate that again, that the contrast, the idea of contrast in the eye is so important. So practice that whenever you're drawing an eye. The other thing that I'm doing in this one is I'm kind of mimicking the sort of surprise look by having rounded lines going around the eye. And so you notice that kind of like, it sort of adds to the expressiveness of the eye because it kind of mimics the roundness of the iris. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button and like the video so you'll get more drawing videos on different topics, including portraits. Okay, so for this one, I'm not going to do too much here, but I'm just wanted to show you that in this one, I have a little bit more emphasis on the tear duct and then a little bit more emphasis on the eyelashes. So for the eyelashes, what you want to do is sort of just like flick your hand, and that will help you get eyelashes. And you can just kind of like layer them together, and eyelashes sort of tend to go in different directions. So that's just something to kind of be aware of. So that's this one. And then I'm again doing a little bit of area kind of around the eyelid as well to try to show that fold in between the eyelid and the upper area. And again, I just wanted to kind of on the side show you the way that I do the eyelashes, where I sort of just like flick my hand to create the eyelashes. Okay, so this last one is an angry looking eye. And so for this one, you're going to notice that the shape of the eye is very different than the other one. So the other one kind of have the sort of general like almondy type shape. This one, the shape is a little bit different. And the eyebrow is really close to the actual eye, and it kind of has that furrowed shape to it. Okay, so and then the other thing is that the iris is, look at the positioning of the iris compared to the white of the eye, right? It's very different than all the other ones. It kind of has like a U-shaped instead of compared to the other ones that don't have that. The next thing here that I'm doing is blocking off the dark area. That's going to be the pupil, and then leaving that highlight. But what's really going to make this look the most expressive is all the work that I'm doing around the eye, right? So if I just had the eye by itself, it wouldn't look quite as angry, right, and expressive. Like I'm shading in that white of the eye that makes it look almost like bloodshot. And then I'm adding a lot of area to the area around the eye, like the eyebrow, that makes it look more furrowed and more angry. So let me know what you thought of this video. Let me know which one's your favorite. And if you'd like the guide, put guide in the comments. If you're new here, please subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you next time and showing you more portrait related content. Okay, see you soon. Bye.